it's Gwen and I am back for episode 10 in the Maggie Holmes Monday series. Today's share actually began here. In my studio, I have two boxes of quite old Maggie supplies, and they're not really grouped by collection. I do group by collection these days, but these ones are either there isn't very much of a collection to choose from, or they're just random bits of paper and embellishments and things. So I did begin with a couple of pieces of Chasing Dreams. I'm working with this photo of Caitlin. And the plan, the main idea for the page was actually to use this sketch here, and it is from Citrus Twist. So I'm working on the main cluster on the left there, and I have attached the foundation of that cluster onto my paper before I sewed around the edge of my layout. And I have to say, heads up, if you're looking for a layout tutorial that has a plan, follows the plan, and everything comes together beautifully, then you are watching the wrong video, friends, because this one goes a little bit pear-shaped. It's not a train wreck, but it definitely does not go to plan. Starting with this element here, see the wood grain there, you'll see in a minute. I decide that I made it too long. It's far too long, and now I need to chop it off. But of course I can't just pick it up and chop it off because I've sewn it to the edge of my page. So I did have to wangle my paper trimmer and lift it up, and I did manage to do it, but it was a bit of a struggle to do that. Yeah, I learnt a lot from creating this layout, which is always a good thing, right? Yeah, starting with, there's a few things I've written down actually, and the first thing was, for some reason, and I have no idea why, I started sticking things down. Normally, I would never stick things down like this. So the wood grain there is stuck down, that pink square pattern paper is stuck down, the orange die cut that says Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, that's stuck down, and even the tag element here, I go and stick it down. And I normally just don't create like that. So what happens is that, like, the reason I don't create like that is further down the track I change my mind, and inevitably that happens, and I get really stuck because I've stuck so much down. So yeah, so learn from my mistakes. If you're the kind of creator that likes to change their mind like me, don't stick things down. Yeah, so there's that. Next, this floral cluster. Oh, actually, I need to take a step back. At this point, I realized that the sketch has a bunch of tags on the right-hand side of the layout, and I realized that I haven't added them, and I've made my stitched border. So now I can't really add the tags on the right because I can't stitch, like, unless I stitched over them, and then would it look weird because I've already added the stitching everywhere else. And then I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess then I'll just create the layout without the tags on the right, and I'll just make it one large cluster here on the left. And you know what? For the most part, that works out quite well. But my mistake number 2 is that I was really focused on all the paper layers and building out the cluster on the left there, like making that like the main thing, and kind of stretching that out across the page, that I didn't really take a look at, or I didn't plan out where my visual triangle was going to be, or where, like, I talk about the flow of pages, how I'm going to lead the eye around the page. I don't really think about that. I just get sticking and placing and trying to build out yeah, the pattern paper foundation there underneath my photo. And I'm just thinking about, you know, making the outside edges interesting and yeah, how that's all going to work. But I don't really think about where my 3 visual triangles going to be, where my 3 points of interest are, or yeah, the flow of the page. And oh, how I struggle with this flower so much. So I did really want to pop it there, but I don't know, it wasn't working. I try it up the top near the swan there, and that wasn't working. I then popped it back on the right, and it does actually stay on the right. I do get it right eventually, but yeah, it just takes a lot. This is just a random piece of chipboard. This was when I was still in that phase of just trying to stretch out the cluster. And at this point, I've stopped looking at the sketch altogether. I've abandoned the sketch, but instead of abandoning the sketch and working with a plan, I'm just putting stuff on the page. And that doesn't work, friends. It doesn't work for me. I need a plan. I need some idea of direction. So yeah, it ends up being this huge audition process. I'm not sure whether I mentioned, but I ended up with almost I think it was a little over 3 hours worth of footage that I had to edit for this video. And yeah, there's that. This is the bones. It's starting to look a little bit more right. However, I decided that swan there at the top of the photo was too heavy, the green in it, and the green in that piece does not match the green in the flowers. So thinking about it, and then that's where I come up with the idea to add in a couple more tags. So I was super keen to use up some tags, hence the sketch that I chose. And at this point, I had only used the one there on the right of the photo. So I was trying desperately, now that I had realized that the swan was too heavy, the background color there, I was like, you know what, I really need to add in some tags, because that was the whole point of this exercise, was to use up some of those tag pieces. So I do that. And did you see there, I fussy cut out that little extra butterfly from the piece in the tag that's going to be under my photo. So no one will know that there's nothing underneath the photo. And I was able to, yeah, squeeze out that little paper die cut butterfly, which is really cute. At this point too, I'm like, okay, it needs less green in the background. So I do pop this little piece of pink banner. I cut that there, and then I go fussing with the floral piece again and trying to audition this chipboard piece again. It doesn't stay on the page. I really was just adding it just to add it, and yeah, I don't know. It was just one of those days. I hope that by sharing this process that I'm not alone. Please let me know in the comments I'm not alone. I'm sure you've had layouts that you've gone to create that haven't gone to plan and that just have been a little bit of a struggle. And yeah, please let me know I'm not alone. And yeah, I just wanted to share that, yeah, it's not all perfect. You know, you often see on YouTube and stuff, perfect pages from creators all the time. It's not always perfect. Maybe for some people it is, but for me it is so not. Yeah. And then I found the other butterfly. There was a second butterfly under there, and I was like, you know what? I fussy cut out one. I'll fussy cut out the other as well and get that onto this page too. So loads and loads more auditioning. At this point, I've lost the plot. I'm trying so many things in so many places. And yes, that's a random bird stuck in the middle of my page, and it's stuck down. And I'm just thinking and thinking and thinking and going a little bit crazy. I do pull up the bird, and fortunately for me, it only makes a very, very small mark on the background, which I do end up covering up in a moment. Here I am adding some more tags, and I also found this cute little cloud. that the bird can sit on, and that actually makes far more sense than a bird just randomly sitting in the sky on the background of my layout. Yeah. So it's at this point too that I want to add something on the left because the layout is quite heavy on the right. So I do find this mint and cream heart, which the colours, working it out really lovely, really nice match. And I also add in some white puffy hearts from my stash. And you can see now that the page is a little more balanced. It has some points of interest around the page, so it's not just one big blob. It's more, I think, you know what, I think it's the hearts that end up really pulling it together for this page, because the way that I positioned the hearts kind of tells the eye now that there are 3 distinct areas of embellishments. And yeah, it really wasn't until this point I was like, I don't know whether I need to just stop and start again or what. So yeah, it really wasn't until this point here that I'm gone, no, this is actually okay. I'm gonna be able to pull this one together. So lucky last, I do add a bow because I'm all about them bows, and I'm going to call this page done. I will leave a link here to the other Maggie Holmes tutorials if you haven't seen those. And yeah, thank you so much for sticking with me with this layout, and I will see you next time. Until then, bye!